All right, you're already shaking your head there, Andy. I'm all in on Drake May. I think Drake May is going to start week 1. I love the pick. So, like, this is not crapping on Drake May. I know it's going to sound like crapping on Drake May. I just, that clip did nothing for me. You're shaking your head. Why?
So, I'm all in on Drake May like you. I don't think he starts week 1. I think the first window of opportunity is week 2.
So you're not all in
we
like
can
me.
talk about that later. No, I'm all in.
You're all in. You're not all in like
protecting
me.
him from the 45-3 loss in Cincy is what I'm doing, and promoting him in front of the home crowd maybe a week later. This did nothing for me. I know the whole internet went absolutely, to use Dale's term, icky baluki, like all over. And I was like, this is one of those things that him regurgitating a play does nothing for me. If he couldn't regurgitate said play, if he kept saying, did you say Rita? Was that 72? Like, if he couldn't do it, alarming.
Okay,
concerning.
So did you watch just to interrupt real quick, did you see the full episode?
No, I saw the clip.
Okay, because Jaden Daniels apparently struggled with it.
Right.
So I kind of even dismissed Jaden Daniels struggling with it as even an issue, but you think that would be an issue?
Not like, oh, I'll never draft this guy, just like pause, food
What's
for
going
thought,
on here? Yeah.
kind of like, what is this?
Got it.
But I generally assume that guys that are reaching high quarterback level, especially like Drake May or Mac Jones, like Michael Vick put on a different side because he admitted, I'm the fastest and I have the strongest arm. You'll take me.
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
I'll figure the rest out. I don't need your stupid playbook. But the very end of that, I may have misread this because I didn't hear anybody talk about this. Typical talk show caller.
No
one's talked about this.
Yeah, no, go for it. Good.
I don't think he had any idea what Dable was talking about in the final part about the sliding the line. He goes like 72 Rita. Sure. Yeah, sure.
72 Rita. Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Like, there is like,
hey, he's just repeating him.
I think he's confused there. He was not going to say 72 Rita. He said, because Dable said 72 Rita. He's like, gotcha. Yeah, not what I would have said, but you're the coach. You know more.
Amen, brother. 72 Rita.
But I don't really care.
Whatever the hell that means.
That was irrelevant to me. The whole thing was irrelevant to me. It's more relevant, the stuff about, is it Showen? Is he there?
Yeah.
That was showing interest and walking over across the way and being like, hey, before you guys do anything, give us a call.
Yeah, so how about this? So Mike Garafolo had a report on the NFL Network, Lord knows where anymore, because I know half their programming has changed. But here's Mike Garafolo on what the Giants were looking to do to move up and who they were looking to move up for.
Well, here we are on Monday now, and the conversation is, was it Joe Alt that they were potentially going to trade up for? That's been kicked around on X this afternoon. No, they were going to trade up for Drake May, was my understanding, but I was running all this by a Giant source who said, man, we did a great job covering our tracks. It's 4 days later, and you guys still don't know what we were trying to do. Drake May would have been the guy. They made the effort to get up there to number 2, even talked to the Washington Commanders, tried to get up to number 3 with the Patriots. Even talked to the Commanders at number 2. It would have been Drake May. They did have interest in J.J. McCarthy, just not at 6. That would have been something that potentially would have played out much later.
Okay. Like that, I like that way more. I'm with you on that. I like way more that the Giants wanted to move up for him. Maybe it was maybe you could say they're all intertwined, like they liked their interview with him. But I'm much more interested in teams that wanted to move up for him all the way to 2, and the Patriots still got him at 3. That does way more for me than a clip that I guarantee you, if you could go back to Mac Jones in his draft interviews, Mac Jones would have aced that same whiteboard thing.
Absolutely.
And I don't give 2 craps about it.
And in fact,
hello.
There was too much emphasis on that
Bingo.
and not enough of, hey, can he move around? Can he throw? Can he make the throws?
Mac went from like a second or third round pick to a first rounder, I bet, based on a lot of that crap.
Hey.
And not that we should necessarily care that you need some validation like, oh, the Giants think he's good too. No. I want Elliott Wolf to be his own man and live on whatever he thinks about the prospects. But this was just sort of a counterpoint to the Dan Orlovsky's. Drake May, raw. He's
never
never
play him for a few years.
Right.
We'll see in
Can he read a
2030.
defense? Does he know his own play calling? All that stuff. That was questions about him.
And so you have, for whatever it's worth, Brian Dable, who tore down and built up Josh Allen, who is the guy that I, from day one, have compared Drake May to. I think Josh Allen and Drake May have a lot of comparisons. And Alex Van Pelt, whatever you think of him as an OC, has been a quarterback guy for a long time. And, was able to get, 5 guys ready last year and the whole thing. 2 pretty respected quarterback whisperers, analysts, and even throw in Ben McAdoo. for his whatever his track record is, I know people like to fluff up.
Yeah,
most
of his good track record was what
With
he wrote,
Eli, right?
wrote in the New York Post.
Right.
Yeah, he had Eli at the tail.
No,
end,
but
yeah.
he's like been right on some quarterbacks in the draft.
Yeah, he
supposedly.
loved Mahomes his
So,
year.
like,
I think he loved Josh Allen
Right.
and Lamar Jackson
So,
their year. Yeah,
it just sort of adds more stock in. They got the guy that everybody thinks is good. It doesn't guarantee it'll work. We've seen plenty of busts out of guys that people were somewhat universally in favor of, but it just even more sort of promotes and validates those of us that are all in on Drake May and think you got your franchise quarterback against the Orlovskis and the doubter. Chris Sims was down on him too, right?
Yep.
He thinks
Sims,
he stinks.
Sims had him like the 6th quarterback in the class or something like
Stuff
that.
it.
Behind Knicks and a lot of guys.
I think Sims loved McCarthy, to be honest. So does that change your perspective at all, Arkan? I know you weren't high on the quarterback class in general, but the Giants wanting to move up for him and other teams were in the mix on him, does that change your opinion at all on Drake May?
Not really. I think that in the once everybody sort of realized it was going to go boom, boom, quarterback, the first 3, then I think that adjusted everybody's way of looking at things. Like the Giants already have a quarterback under contract, and so they would have had to do something to move on from Daniel Jones, and they ended up picking Malik Neighbors, right? Is that who they got at 6?
Yes,
I think
correct.
so.
Yes.
Yeah, so they didn't even go for a quarterback. Like they ended up sort of adjusting what they wanted to do on the fly there. And I think that in the case of when we saw like Penix getting picked very early and Nix going before we thought a lot of people thought he would go, I think that's sort of when it was signaled, okay, there's going to be a real run on these guys. Is there that much? Like, was there much movement in terms of teams trying to go up? Teams really making that big move to go up because they thought that Drake May was so much better than Penix or Nix or any of the other guys? Like, you didn't end up seeing it. So,
But that's
I don't
what
know.
they were.
They talked about it, but no one really did. No one followed through on it.
Because the Patriots said no, and they had conviction. The Patriots
Right.
wouldn't do it.
And I think Washington may have said no, and they wanted their guy. But I like that. I actually think the value in Drake May would have been devalued, if that makes any sense, if the Giants had just said, yeah, we'll take J.J. McCarthy. No. They wanted Drake May. So in a historic QB class, which I appreciate you going against it,
we'll see.
You got to stand your ground.
It's going to be my second Tangway reference, but genius often walks alone.
Yes. So does idiocy.
Sometimes. That's not true. Idiots, there's a lot of idiots.
We'll see.
Yeah,
but no, I
sometimes
enjoy that. So
idiots can be in a big group.
6
That's true.
went in the top 12. Is that what it is? And you didn't care for the class.
Not really, no.
And this year,
There's
I'm
a lot
reading-
of teams desperate for quarterbacks.
I mean, that Christian Ponder, you're a ton of quarterbacks went high.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the be-all, end-all, but in terms of May, the fact that the Giants were all in on May and then didn't just say, well, we need a quarterback, so we'll just take JJ, or we'll just take Nix, or we'll just take whoever's next. No. They thought he was at least the second-best quarterback in the draft, and for all I know, they thought he was the first, right?
Yeah, they might have. I don't know if they thought he was better than Williams, but I do think that they had him at least number 2. But they also looked at Daniel Jones and thought, you know what, we're okay. We don't need to.
They got trapped. That was entrapment. That was entrapment.
Okay.
That was entrapment.
I mean, Mac Jones was around
You're
here.
pregnant.
He had
Yes,
another
we're
year.
getting married. I don't love you, but we're getting married.
I guess.
That's what happened there.
Fine. Well, then
They
they
were
didn't really have
pregnant.
much interest to begin with then, did they, if they were entrapped by Daniel Jones? So who really cares if they thought he was number 1
So
or 2?
you don't think
if they were
Brian-
never going to really go there anyway?
So you don't think Brian Dable? No, I think Brian Dable wanted Drake May. I think Brian Dable saw what I saw and said, I can turn that into Josh Allen. Yeah, there's going to be some bumps in the road, but that kid can do X, Y, and Z at an elite level. And I have respect for Brian Dable.
And the
his
Patriots
view.
said, we're not going to do it no matter what you offer us. We're not going to trade out of 3. There's no possible way we'll do that. Or they didn't offer him enough because they had Daniel Jones already, and they didn't want to
or they couldn't
mortgage the
offer
future.
enough. I think the Patriots were all in on Drake May. And again, these are just adding to the reason you should have July faith.
It's not what you heard leading up to the draft. They were looking to move back.
Right. A smoke screen.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You heard every possible
I had
smoke.
heard all along it was Drake May, Drake May. Like when somebody, I
never thought they were moving back. You know that. I thought they were going to stay and pick.
When J.J. McCarthy became a thing here,
Smoke
and
screen.
I texted somebody, I said something like, should I be worried about this whole J.J. McCarthy crap? Only if you believe silly rumors on the internet or something like that. And it's like,
Which I do, by the way.
I do too.
I
actually really enjoy silly rumors on the internet.
I chase every single
Right.
rumor on the internet there is. Yes.
Nike is a big bad company that kept my guy off the Olympic
Yes,
team.
exactly.
I got to believe that for now until
Thank you.
proven otherwise. But no, like I think they were all in on Drake May and they've expressed that since. Now you can choose not to believe that either because all coaches say that. Bill, every time Bill took somebody at 44, we would have taken him at 21.
Well, again,
he was
I
my guy the whole
I
time.
can't believe he was still here.
Chad Jackson, Lawrence Maroney, we would have taken both in the first round. Yeah, because they both stink.
So there you go. You can jump in on this.